COVID-19 has disrupted freshman year for many students across California. Some are putting off the start so they can work to support their families. Others are struggling with an all-virtual experience and mourning the college life they had hoped for. For students like Maria, Jesus, and Edward, who had to put off the start of their college careers so they can support their families, it's happening at a time when COVID-19 is surging across the state, cutting further into their families' ability to pay for essentials. Maria's family emigrated to Northern California from Mexico just so she could have a future. But instead of being a student at UC Davis, Maria is helping to support her family with money she earns from babysitting and cat sitting. As an undocumented person, her options are limited.
Being an immigrant family, we've just always found ourselves in tough situations at some point, and we've always found our way out one way or another. I'm the first one to graduate from high school. Actually, from my family, I'm the youngest of four, and I'm also the first to go to college. Being an undocumented student, there are definitely limited resources out there in regards to aid. So I knew that my search was pretty much limited to California, and just one, to be safe, and two, to be close to my family if anything happens.
Edward was on track last March to attend UC Riverside with the help of financial aid and a scholarship. He took on a job to help his family, but soon realized it just wasn't enough. With his father hospitalized with COVID-19, he knows he has no choice but to keep working if he wants to fulfill his college dream of getting a dual degree in business and film production.
I've already paid for dorming in January, so I really hope I get to be there, just because it's very difficult being in a home environment and doing school. Worst case scenario, it gets canceled, and hopefully they refund me my money.
In March, Jesus was on a path to attend Cal State Northridge to become a civil engineer. But when COVID-19 cut into his family's work hours, he took on more work and weekend gigs in a regional Mexican band to pay the bills.
Throughout this whole time, everything was going on. I was really excited for college, Cal State Northridge, and the valley up there, Northridge. That was the one I chose to go to. I wanted to be in the engineering program.
Now, instead of a 4-year university, he's enrolled in the electrician program at Long Beach City College.
But in the pandemic hit, we had an unforeseen economic expense that it pushed us to using the money that we had saved up for my tuition to cover that expense. What we did was, I couldn't afford college anymore. So then I had to defer to the spring because I was I'm just gonna spend the next few months working, making sure that I save up again.
Yeah, I got back from CSUN and they were asking for my transcript. I didn't pass the class and I had to redo that class all over again, on top of all the other classes I was taking my senior year. And I was advised to this a month before school ended. It was stressful because my dad he wasn't working anymore. I was thinking about, damn, my dad's not working, it's just me working. So in my head was how are we gonna do this?
Right when quarantine hit, my mom lost her job. I started working to help her pay her bills because my parents separate the bills. But I also did it for myself because I told myself my parents are not gonna be responsible for me at all for college. That's my hustle, that's my grind. So I started working at the end of May, full-time.
I joined NGS when I was in 8th grade, I want to say. It's been a while. And the program encourages the students to take summer classes at our local community college, which is College of Marin. And actually one of those classes that I took, which was the history of Latinos, Latinas in the U.S., is the reason why I decided to major in Chicano studies. I've always had to defend my Latinx self. I've always had to defend my undocumented self, my Chicanx self. In this classroom, I was being represented, and in this classroom, you were talking about my ancestors and my roots, and I definitely didn't recognize how much that was missing in my life. Every kid deserves to feel empowered when they're learning about history, and not just when it comes to crime statistics or immigration. They deserve to see themselves as the heroes of the story.
With the president of the United States, how he talks about Mexicans, you know what I mean? That the rape is blah, blah, this, that. There's stereotypes that I've heard that, the kids are gonna be just like the parents. They're just gonna work in a regular job, get paid minimum wage, and just stay there. My sister, she's in college, she's in Cal City, LA, and she graduated. I want to be the second one to graduate. I want to make my parents proud. Like, I want to prove that just because my parents are immigrants, like, and stuff like that, doesn't mean I can do something about my life.
When I was deciding to go to university, and definitely like race was like a big thing like in the back of my head. When I was going to Riverside, I definitely had in mind like this is a place where, not where I belong, because you can belong anywhere, but it's a place where I would feel comfortable, at least for my undergrad. And I know Riverside has a lot of programs specifically in like supporting race, supporting Black Lives Matter, things of that matter. So that's something definitely I want to get involved in.
I didn't want my freshman year of college to be like, just go online and do work. To me, it was like, how is that possible? How am I supposed to learn? I'm a hands-on person, like I'm a visual learner. Like I want to be an electrician, like I have to get on top of it. I'm gonna give myself a chance to do it. I started getting into it and it's not as bad as I thought it would be.
I plan to work my like entire college. It is like very daunting, and I've thought like, oh, is college really worth it? But I know like in the long term it is. So that's why I'm still deciding to pursue it.
Being undocumented has just been, well, one, just always keeping an eye out or an ear out, I guess, for news of like raids happening, and just like making sure like, hey, it's happening here, like let's not go there, let's, you know, steer away from that area. Just making sure that like, you know, you never find yourself in like a questionable situation, because anything could just lead to you being deported, or I guess me being deported. And you know, I don't want that. It's kind of inconvenient to get an education from a country that you know nothing of.